What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. On this episode, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a story time, something that happened recently, and I really truly believe that this analogy is going to help all of you, whether you decide to have children one day or get married or just, have anybody involved in your life with family. So it's all about how your internal state of how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your direction and purpose in everyday life is going to expand into the outside. You're going to express that to other people, even if it's negative feelings, even if it's frustrations, even if it's disappointment, regret. It's going to come out into the people around you, and they're going to have to live through that too. So bear with me, listen to this story. I think it's going to serve you guys really well. My neighborhood has a mix of everybody in it, from every demographic, most age groups, but most of it's families. I think we're the only people here in the neighborhood that don't have kids. So I have a neighbor. I've spoken to him because I walk the dogs. You guys see my videos 3 times a day. I've spoken to everybody with hellos and a couple of conversations, stop and go, and also at the local supermarket that's not too far from here. We run into each other, and a lot of people also know me from the chain of gyms and being here in my industry 15 years. So this guy once or twice had asked me, because once I had seen him outside of his house trying to jump his car, and he didn't know how to find the battery, because German cars and Italian sports cars have 2 batteries, the main one and an auxiliary one. Anyway, I helped the guy out and we were chatting, and he had asked me about, my shape, some tips, and blah, blah, blah. So we got to chatting. I gave him my runaround. He told me his situation. This is right after COVID, when we moved in this neighborhood and bought the house. And he had told me about the stress of work, not making good decisions with his money or his investments, the stress of the wife at home, trying to put the kids through school. He's got 2 young kids, both around maybe like 6 years old and 3 or 4, somewhere around there. And they're good people, You can see that they care. They're not, to be in this area, most people do take care of themselves and live a pretty good path. But he's explaining to me now, he didn't do well with his money. He's not doing good with his health. He's got a lot of depression. He's got a lot of anxiety. He's worried all the time. He wishes he could go back into time. And he was suffering from some things like hypertension, some bad lipid levels on his blood test from the doctor, and he's starting to feel the ailments of that, and it's dragging him down. His wife, who I've also seen outside the house coming and going, and seen her multiple times at the supermarket, is in the same state as him. Overweight, don't take care of themselves. I've seen the food, at the supermarket, just glancing over, seeing what people buy, all processed, all junk. Now, last week when I was walking past the house, they had the front door open, and across the whole front garden and through the villa gate, because the villa gate was open, they were having a lashing at these 2 little kids. And don't get me wrong, I come from family, I'm Greek, I've dated single moms, I've babysat, raised kids, been on vacation with kids. My sister brings her kids to my house in Greece in the summers. I love them, I adore them, and I also know when they're wrong, they need discipline, but there's a rhyme and reason behind it. These kids had literally like a 10-minute all-out lashing, like enemy versus enemy, with both these parents standing over one of the children, and how they were speaking to them and what they were expressing from inside of themselves with such rage and just such insanity and loss of control. It clicked to me. Other people that were outside walking, nannies with kids coming from the park, or other people with dogs, had this face of like, I can't fucking believe that doing this loud to kids, because the front door was open and they were reprimanding the children, disciplining them at the front of the porch to go into the house. So it was very loud. And I understood it, and it hit me because I see it all the time with other people. And it made me go back to my past and remember what I was like to other people. Now, these parents, guarantee, raising children is not easy. It comes with its up, its down. You're dealing with little people and their emotions. But do you think that if these people were in a better place with smarter choices and not under pressure with their money, that they would feel a little bit better about themselves and be less frustrated? Do you think that if this young couple wasn't in the 40 to 50% body fat range and taking care of their internal health? We all know that 90% of the serotonin in our brains created in our gut. You can't be happy, you can't be content, you can't feel good and be able to be productive if your internal state's not good. So if these people took care of themselves with their food, exercise to be able to get stress out of their body and out of their mind, spent time outside, walking, swimming, playing with their kids, doing all these positive things to be able to elevate their internal state and the way they feel about themselves, to let them connect with each other and not just be waking up every day to a list of problems and obstacles and tasks like many couples do and many parents do, thinking like, fuck, I just got to get through this day, I just got to get through this week. Instead, if they lived with some simple core traits, some simple habits, I could easily change some simple things a couple times a week that they need to do with their exercise and some food, some hydration, some stretching, simple things that would make them feel amazing, would make them feel like a team, make them feel like they're taking on the world, make them see the outside as half full and not half empty. Then they would exemplify that in their home with their children. They would have more patience, they would have more energy, they would have more focus to be able to speak to them differently and discipline them differently. And maybe also just give a better example. Maybe the kids did something that the parents do, scream at each other, ignore each other, leave stuff around the house because everyone's got nannies and maids here. I don't know what the story was behind it, but I know that those two people were not in a good place that day. And I'm sure afterwards they felt horrible about it. And I'm sure it's not a first time. But the premises behind the story is that I remember what I was like when I was disappointed with my lifestyle, when I was disappointed with where I ended up on the streets, living the life of a gangster, getting high, making illegal money, no connection or communication with the truly good people in my life, not having a purpose, not feeling good about my mental state or my opportunities. I was a piece of shit. I was an asshole. I had nothing good to offer anybody. Nothing good to offer anybody. Maybe a few moments in the day or the week, I could be kind if I went over someone's house or was around family members, but in the most part, the smallest things could trigger me. The smallest things could set me off, and I'd be like, fuck it. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to sort this shit out right now, and then I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make myself feel better afterwards. And that's where those parents are. They acted like that towards their children because they neglected themselves. They've let everything stack up on top of it, and they haven't taken care of their inner peace, their inner self-worth, their inner self-respect, and also unified that with each other. So they're reflecting that onto their children. And that's why they got triggered like that. So that's the message that I have out there for you guys, is that if you don't feel good about yourself, if you feel like you're not living the way you should live, or you're not doing the things that you should do, and I'm not talking about jumping out of planes or everyone's got to be a billionaire CEO. I'm talking about the basics, that people neglect their self-worth and their self-respect with their health, with their mental state, with their social circles, with their time, with their money, and deep down their conscious is telling them, you know you should be doing different. You said yesterday you were going to start this today, and you said yesterday you were going to stop doing this, but you're doing it again today. So I think if most people can overcome that battle within themselves, they're going to offer their best version to the people around them and show that effort that they give to themselves to those people, and those people will follow the same path, whether it's your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, your husband, later on your kids, your colleagues, if you guys are working together on projects at work, your employees, if you run a business. You can't go wrong in life trying to better your inner self and your inner peace and the way you feel about yourself and the way you truly, honestly see yourself in the mirror. behind closed doors, because outside everybody puts on a fucking costume party. I know so many people, heart to heart, I'm not judging them. I put all my shit out there, honesty about the things I still need to improve on and all the bad things I did in my past. But their LinkedIn or bio will say one thing, but behind closed doors, they're the exact opposite. And that's what matters. Not to those other people, but to you. You can fake the funk to everybody and pretend you got your shit together. Man, they're gonna be impressed or ignore the 5 minutes that they run into you at a board meeting or at a bar or on a vacation or wherever the fuck they see you. It's you that has to deal with you behind closed doors and the people that are involved underneath your roof. And that's the message. If you guys can improve your inner, your outer will follow. Our external world will always match our internal state. I hope this video can bring you guys some value. If you got any questions, if you need any help, go ahead and shoot any of the links, shoot me a DM. Stay true to yourself, stay good to yourself. Don't let anything or anybody get in the way of the life that you want to live.